Silence. Silence is the essential human response to the mystery of God, to the infinity of God. It's as though the mystery of God is a wonderful, multifaceted diamond. When we talk about God, or when we think about God, it's as though we're responding to one or other of His facets. But when we are silent in His presence, we respond to the mystery that we call God as a whole, and that omnidimensionally. And the wonder of it is that it's the whole of us that responds to the entirety of the mystery of God. It's not just our intellect, not just our emotions, not just the religious side of us or the secular side of us. Everything that we are responds to everything that He is, in absolute harmony, in absolute love. And that's what the experience of Christian prayer is. Our union with Him who is one. How is this possible? It is possible through the incarnate reality that is Jesus. God is fully revealed in Jesus, fully present in Jesus. And the love of Jesus has made us one with Him. By becoming open in silence to His reality, we become open in wonder to the reality of God. And we learn to be silent by being content to say our mantra in humble fidelity. To tread the spiritual path, we must learn to be silent. What is required of us is a journey into profound silence. Part of the problem of the weakening of religion in our times is that religion uses words for its prayers, for its rituals, but those words have to be charged with meaning, and they can only be charged with meaning sufficient to move our hearts, to set us out in new directions, to change our lives. They can only be charged with meaning if they spring from Spirit. And Spirit requires silence. We all need to use words, but to use them with power, we all need to be silent. And meditation is the way to silence, the way of silence. It's the way of the mantra, the word that leads us to such a silence that ultimately charges all words with meaning. And the silence is really absolutely necessary for the human spirit. If it really is to thrive, and not only just to thrive, but to be creative, to have a creative response to life, to our environment, to our friends. Because the silence gives our spirit room to breathe, room to be. And in silence, you don't have to be justifying yourself, apologizing for yourself, trying to impress anyone. You just have to be. And it's a most marvelous experience when you come to it. And the wonder of it is that in that experience you are completely free. You're not trying to play any role. You're not trying to fulfill anyone's expectations. To learn to meditate, you have to learn to be silent and not to be afraid of silence. One of the great problems for modern people is that we're so unused to silence. Many people live with a constant background of radio or record player or some sort of noise going on. Now in meditation, you're, as it were, crossing over the threshold from the background noise into silence. Now let me just try to explain to you the reaction you must try to have to the silence. What happens is this: you begin to recite your word, and you begin to feel more peaceful, more silent. And then you become aware that you are on the threshold of silence. And this is a sort of critical moment for many people, because you're leaving the familiar world of your sounds, your ideas, your thoughts, and your words, and you're crossing over into silence, and you don't know what's in store for you. Now that's why it's so important and so useful to meditate in a group. It's why it's so important and so useful to meditate in a tradition. A tradition that says to you, fear not, don't be afraid. The purpose of our meditation is to be in the presence of love. The love that, as Jesus tells us, casts out all fear. But it's a critical moment, because if you go back to your thoughts, to your ideas, even perhaps to your prayers, you've turned away from the entry into silence, into prayer, into love. Now I think what all of us have to learn is, it's not so much that we have to create silence. The silence is there, within us. What we have to do is to enter into it, to become silent to become the silence. And the purpose of meditation and the challenge of meditation is to allow ourselves to become silent enough to allow this interior silence to emerge. Silence is the language of the Spirit. Learning to say your mantra, learning to say your word, leaving behind all other words, all other ideas, imaginations, fantasies, is learning to enter into the presence of the Spirit who dwells in our inner heart, who dwells there in love. The Spirit of God dwells in our hearts in silence and in humility and in faith. We must enter into that silent presence.